Well, for all you out there that don't remember, they're too young to remember. I've been spent a yarn about a place far away, right in the heart of the Middle East. You're fixing to learn about Iran from them high-wire days around 1921 all the way up through the fateful year of 1979. Now let's set the stage. Iran back then was like a big old tent filled with folks from all walks of life. Persians, Arabs, Kurds, and more. They were all living under this big old umbrella. It's called the Qahar dynasty. But things weren't all going that well, you see. The country was in a bit of a pickle. We first enter Reza Khan. Now, he was a real sharp cookie, a military man who saw an opportunity when he spotted it. And in 1921, with the help of the pals from British, and he staged a coup and took over as prime minister. And but that wasn't enough. Old Reza, no sir, he wanted more. So in 1925, he had himself crowned as a Shah, the I get those when the names pronounced all right, maybe. Viraz. Anyway, that he was the king in Persia. In case you're scratching your head and trying to figure it out. And boy, did he set about making some big changes. He figured he was going to build a modern nation, and he needed some help from his pals across the pond. So he entered the stage that was left, them old U.S. of A, and they're all companies, yep, you guessed it, the black gold, Texas tea. Iran had a whole lot of that stuff, and those Americans were eager to get their hands on it. And they struck a deal with Reza, the Shah, and before you could say jackrabbit, they were drilling up a storm. Now, Reza was quite a dictator, and he wasn't. He figured out he was going to keep the throne and make everything better for the folks and stayed in line. So he rounded up the pesky communists and sent them packing, and wouldn't you know it, mullahs, well, that's Muslim clerics to you. They were thrilled with Reza either. They saw him as a threat to their power. But hold on to your hats, cause we just not done yet. In 1941, Adolf Hitler was causing all kinds of trouble in Europe, and the Brits and the Soviets decided they could keep Iran neutral, so they rolled into town with their tanks, told Reza the Shah he had to step down, and he must have figured it wasn't worth the fight, because he packed his bag and headed off to exile. And enter the next fellow, the Mohammed Reza Pahlavi. The Brits and the Soviets made him a deal that they would have his daddy's old job, and Shah was not only if he promised to be nice with them and play with them. And old Muhammad got himself a crown, and things seemed to be looking up. And boy, howdy did they ever change, as you see. Well, Reza, he had himself quite an ego, and he figured he was going to be the one that turned Iran into the big old modern powerhouse. And so he set about making all sorts of changes. New schools, new hospitals, and highways and whatnot. But here's the thing, and the countryside wasn't too keen on that. They liked the old ways just fine, thank you very much. And then they were the mullahs, remember them? Well, they were getting mighty tired of seeing their power slipped away. So what do you think happened next? Yep, you guessed it, a whole lot of the trouble brewing. And in 1978, folks started protesting in the streets, and they wanted the Shah out. And they weren't about to take no for an answer, and the Shah tried to keep his things under control with his secret police, but that wasn't enough. And finally, in January the 16th, 1979, after all those years of changing and fighting, Muhammad Pasha packed his bags and skedaddled out of town. And who do you know and think was waiting in the wings to take his place? Yep, none other than the old revolutionary Ayatollah Khomeini. And there you have it, in the story of Iran from 1921 to 1979. It's a tale of power, change, of folks fighting for what they believed in, and one of a country trying its darndest to find its place in this old world. So that's my 2 cents. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, keep on laughing, keep on learning from the land, and this is Thoughts While Thank You, and these opinions are mine.